another thing I'd like to say, and I do appreciate that a lot of this sounds like me tooting my own horn, but I'm not. I'm curious about myself, probably more or as much as I am about the world and shit. But like the other day, Elliot was saying how maybe I'm naturally more intellectual, or I naturally have a higher IQ than him. Um, so I mentioned that as kind of a preface, and then I'll say when we were in this induction, this guy was going on about how the company genuinely cares about us as individual employees, and about how they have these values, and in the performance reviews they go over these values and how you've hit them and how they can help you, and they have a free mental health thing where you can call any time or whatever, and it's free, and you can just vent, and someone at the council will just listen to you and therapize you, basically counsel you. Um, and I was thinking, for example, you know, if they do care, when they, well, I did ask him how can he gauge whether or not a company he may work for genuinely cares, and he went through his process. Like, he has a bullshit detector now because he's gone through different companies and asked these questions from which, from the answers from which he can determine if the company would care about him and care about the employees, other employees. And I was thinking, like, with the values, like, are these just words? How do they prove that they're from the heart, they care about the employees, and that these values are genuine, not just bullshit facades, guises, through which I think a lot of companies operate. And then, for example, yeah, I was just thinking, like, asking questions, all these questions to try to break it down to determine if they were genuine, and writing about corporate structures and how a lot of them are bullshit. And I thought, I don't know, I had like a kind of a third person observation of myself, like, why the fuck are you interested in that, Luke? Like, why is that evoked your curiosity, the authenticity of some company and its values and shit? If you asked me to write about that at school, I'd have ran a mile and said this is the most boring, dry, mundane bullshit and pointless, completely futile crap you could ask me to write about. And I just thought that, well, maybe I don't know, maybe I just have a natural curiosity I've developed, or a tendency toward deep thinking, that sounds so fucking cliche and cringe. And I was like, well, how have I developed that? And I, 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 I don't know. I think it's, I think I thought, if I recollect, if I recall correctly, I thought about how I think philosophy does it for me. And because philosophy is asking questions and trying to come up with answers, and just trying to develop understanding about the world and yourself. That's, to me, what psychology and philosophy is. And the more kind of understanding you have, the more at peace you are. So I think I developed that interest in philosophy and psychology because of my own existential suffering. And instead of submitting to that suffering and just being like a piece of shit, I guess I had some level of self-belief or curiosity or whatever to seek out some answer for myself. And I just sought that in philosophy. And yeah, and I guess through that, and through persistent reading of philosophy and whatever, which was done out of like a neurotic, a suffering, sort of like a desperate, that's the word, I was doing that out of desperation, like, I am in pain, existence is suffering, help me, book. And and I guess from there I've sort of developed this tendency to ask questions and shit. And I'm saying this not because I think I'm good at it, or I think I'm exceptional, or I'm very intelligent or whatever, but I say that because I'm interested in that aspect of myself. Because I find interesting that I can be interested in seemingly bullshit, shallow or things like that. Okay, that was that thought.